Hey guys, I just got done at the gym a little while ago, got back, have some thoughts I want to share. As an independent Baptist and as someone who was abused as a child, I want to just publicly say thank you to a lot of the people who have called out and condemned the sin by this preacher in Virginia. I don't know the man personally, and honestly, I didn't really want to post something right away, and I don't know the guy. I also know I don't really have decades of experience where people really would care about my opinion, but I figured I might as well kind of give my thoughts and kind of my experience, I guess, from a different perspective. For those who don't know my story, I was abused as a child, and it affected me for a lot of years growing up. It still affects me to this day in some ways, not as much as it used to. I think the last couple of years, past 4 or 5 years, I've finally gotten to the point where I've actually been able to personally forgive what happened to me, and I no longer hold on to that as like the source of anger and depression and a lot of the things that that used to be, I guess, the symptoms of what all had happened. But when I was about 4 or 5 years old, a close family member of mine abused me, and was I don't know, I guess grooming me. I don't know how else to put it. It wasn't a good situation. He wasn't a good man. He abused my mom physically and just a lot of bad stuff with that. And for years the thing was I didn't grow up in a Christian home. My mom, she found out, she got saved after I got saved when I was a teenager. So, she did the best that she could with what she had. Truly, she really did. And there really wasn't that much she could do, in that situation. But I am grateful that this all happened before I became an independent Baptist, because I know that if I was an independent Baptist when this happened, and I probably would have associated independent Baptists with what happened, just because it's confusing for the brain to kind of deal with all of that. So I'm glad I wasn't. That came later in life. But I think a lot of people who have been abused in whatever situation, whatever religion that they're in, they tend to blame the religion, they blame the denomination for what happened to them, rather than just recognizing it really does happen in every walk of life. Even in our walk of life, we were technically, I guess, Lutheran at that time, or Catholic, I don't really know. But I don't blame the Lutheran Church for what happened to me. It's what happened. And so, I blame the person who did it to me, really is what has to happen. But anyway, I guess I share all this because I know there's a lot of different opinions, and I kind of was hesitant to say anything because I know as a, missionary, this would limit the churches that would even consider me, because I know that there's a lot of strong opinions on both sides, and I understand where both sides are coming from. I really do. I get it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. And so I know since there are strong opinions, I was just going to stay out of it, but I just feel like I'll at least throw it out there, that I think anybody who is not actively calling out what happened is doing a grave disservice for the cause of Christ. Because whether or not this teenager understands or knows, he's going to have symptoms for years. I mean, growing up after this happened to me, I had extreme anger problems. Just really bad stuff, that I had all these emotions that were bubbling up inside of me that I didn't know how to deal with. I had depression. I was diagnosed with depression, clinically diagnosed at 7 years old. I tried to commit suicide for the first time, like 7 or 8. And I know this is strong. I'm not trying to, scare anybody or use trigger words or whatever. I mean, if anybody would get triggered by this, it would be, someone who literally is clinically diagnosed with this stuff. But, and then, so I was in juvie 5 times growing up for all my anger problems. I was in what's called a psychiatric residential treatment facility at PRTF because of all the depression and all the things that I went through mentally. trying to figure out how to deal with all that. And then I was in a couple of therapeutic foster homes as well. So I understand. I've been in the perspective of the abuser, and I've also seen what it did to me, to have people side with the abuser, say that it didn't actually happen, or it's not that bad, or whatever, right? And I know not everybody, there's not really anybody saying that in this situation, but no matter what you're saying, I think it's important that we call out the sin for what it is. It's sin. It's wicked sin. It's not just a normal sin. It's like, it's perverted. It's not natural. And so again, my whole purpose for this isn't necessarily to bash him, because I don't know him. I know the sin is bad, and I'll say that plainly. I don't want to start a huge war over this, but I guess I just want to, let people know kind of from the other perspective, how when you say or don't say certain things, what it does for the person who is abused. And the sad part is that unfortunately, he's probably not the only one. Statistically speaking, he's probably not the only one. And my heart grieves for them, because I know, like I said, I know what it did to me for years. I mean, it messed me up. Even after I got saved, I had so many things that I needed to battle with, and I had so many things that I just shoved down. So anyway, I wanted to just share that quick thought, kind of share why I stand where I stand on this, and then also just let people know that even though this person did this and he just happened to be an independent Baptist, it doesn't mean that I'm not an independent Baptist anymore, because I'm an independent Baptist because of what I believe, not because of what people do. I've listened to the guy's sermons, which is sad. Like when I listen to his sermon, I listened to one or two of his sermons from years ago. And I was like, man, this is pretty good stuff, It's sad to know, what was going on in his heart this whole time. But I guess the thing is that I'm not an independent Baptist because of a person. I'm an independent Baptist because I believe the doctrines, and I believe the doctrines of the independent Baptist world. It doesn't change me. It doesn't change who I am or what I believe because someone grievously jumps into sin. I'm not going to say falls. He jumped into it because he knew what he was doing, just through the things that have been put out there so far. Which is sad. It really is. But anyway, I hope this is just unedited, just a couple thoughts that I had that I wanted to share and kind of put out there for you guys. So hopefully you guys could take something from it. God bless.